All right, like I said, introducing the body systems now. We've already talked about the levels of organization. We went through cells. We talked about tissues. Now we're getting into the organs and the organ systems and how they build an organism. Starting off with the skeletal system, and the main organs are the bones. Now, as you'll be able to tell from here, I do need you to know some examples of bones. Like the bones that protect my heart and my lungs. They're right here. What are those called? Your ribs. The bone that protects my brain that's supposedly in there. Your skull. Do you know some of those? What about the bones that go down my back that protect my spinal cord? Your spine or your vertebrae is a really fancy word. You'll see that there. Vertebrae. Here is probably the most important thing that we're going to write down about bones. Bones have 4 jobs that they do for us. And this is stuff that you will have to repeat on the test. They protect us. They give us our shape. They help us move. And this bottom one is very weird, but it's something that they do, and it shows up on the test all the time. Inside of your bones is where your red blood cells are made. That's the 4 jobs of bones. They protect us. They give us our shape. They give us the ability to move in conjunction with our muscles, and they produce red blood cells. Going to take a couple minutes for us to write that down, so we'll pause the video. Again, we've talked about a lot of this in class already as we were reviewing the vocabulary words about the skeletal system. We said in class that it protects us, and it does. Your skull protects your brain, your spine protects your spinal cord, your ribs protect your heart and lungs. We said that it helps us to move in partnership with the muscular system. Bones give us our shape. We looked at some of those sport cards that had different shapes, and we knew for the most part what those animals were. And then the new one, maybe even put a little star beside this one, is it makes red blood cells. That's a new one that we may not have known already. It will be on the quiz, and it'll be on the test, and it shows up on the EOGs and the benchmarks all the time. So again, we have watched some videos about bones, pretty much reinforcing the same thing, that the bones have 4 different jobs. The big one is protection. The second one that I would probably put in that line is going to be working with the muscular system to help you move. The third one would be it makes red blood cells. And then at last, and it'll show up, it gives you your shape. It gives you stability in order to stand up. Bones. All right, muscular system. You're taking notes on this now. We're teaching people that happen to be at home right now. Muscles are how we move. Muscles are how we move. And I know somewhere in those notes up there, I need to go back and put generates heat because I see it at the bottom here. Muscles are how we move. All the movement inside of our body is controlled by some type of muscle. Muscles also generate heat. We talked about being outside on a cold day, how you start shivering. That's your body's reaction to move your muscles a whole bunch to help you gain heat. Muscles move the blood through our body. Muscles move food through our body. And muscles, by generating heat, help us keep our body temperature at the correct temperature. When we were raising our hand and putting it down, we learned that we can control that, and we learned that those are called voluntary muscles. Voluntary muscles, those are the ones you control. Typically, that's the ones that are connected to your skeletal system. Are there others? Yes. Sometimes I can control my diaphragm by breathing in and breathing out, but most of the time it's going to be involuntary. But it's the movement, the moving around. Then we talked about those involuntary muscles. Involuntary muscles. Those are the ones that we don't control typically. Heart beating, food digestion, breathing, blinking. I'm glad we don't have to control that and think about that. It's good that there's a part of our brain taking care of that so that we can do other things while we are here. Now I'm going to watch that video here. All right, here are our notes for muscular system, and I'm going to come in here and add, oh, it's a generate heat is in there. Good. I didn't think that was in there. It's in there. Awesome. Muscular system. The main organs are the muscles. Do you need to know some of them? I did put some examples down here like your heart, the smooth muscle around your digestive system, your diaphragm. We talked about biceps. I think that was Julius that said biceps earlier, right? Yeah, we talked about the biceps. But you have 4 kinds of muscles. Skeletal muscles. Guess what's that attached to? Kind of in the name, right? Attached to the skeleton, helps you move. Smooth muscles, that's probably a new one, right, Brantley? Did you know about smooth muscles before today connected? Yeah. That's the stuff that surrounds your organs on the inside that helps move food through. Cardiac muscles, what word does that sound similar to that's in our vocabulary? Cardiac. What word in vocabulary? Cardiovascular, because that's the heart, and cardiovascular is the pumping of blood through your body. That's why that's called that. That's your heart muscles. And then we have that on there for us as well. Are there any questions right now while you're taking notes? All right, folks at home, I'm going to pause this so you can pause and take notes. All right, I feel like the folks at home, I have covered skeletal system. I quickly went through the muscular system. Obviously, this is not the only time we are going to talk about these systems. You know we're going to review them every day, but now we have the notes to write down so that we can study those, and we'll start adding that into our teaching every day. I'm going to stop the recording, though. My students always like for me to say, smash the like button and subscribe. Click the notification bell for whatever. Nobody wants to do that for science videos because that probably means you're homesick. But do it anyway. And definitely subscribe so we can get up to 500 this year. That would be awesome. All right.